The target I selected for my visual essay was the topic of digital media versus physical media. In this project, I break down how we are moving away from physical media slowly but surely into a new digital age. Specifically, I am talking about in terms of video games, but you can also see this trend in newspaper coverage as most people move from getting their written news from newspapers and magazines into what they read online. The catch is, though, even with this digital push, there is still an underlying need for physical media. If everything went completely digital, there could be situations in which physical media would still be necessary, and in reality, both will continue to be important as we move forward. Now, personally, I have moved almost exclusively to digital media content. I have bought a few games that are physical media as well as a few classic VHS tapes that I'm holding onto as a collector, but I can pinpoint the fall of 2014 as my last true video game purchase in a physical copy form for my PlayStation 4. I bought a copy of NBA 2K15 that fall, and since then, all of my content that I have bought, I have purchased through the PlayStation Store, in which I download the game straight from the PlayStation Store server. The advantages to this are that I never have to deal with disc error anymore, or even the nuance of the disc making a lot of noise while it's spinning. I can get games the day of their release without having to go stand outside a Best Buy or a GameStop at midnight to get a midnight release. I can now, in fact, pre-order the game online, download it 2 to 3 days before the game actually drops, and then play immediately that evening to get a head start against online competition, which is both cool and convenient. Yet all is not quite hunky-dory, as there are now cons to this situation. One is hard drive space, as the PlayStation 4 only has about 500 gigabytes of hard drive space, and at 60 gigabytes per game, I cannot store near the amount of games I have bought on my system through the PlayStation Store, which means when I want to install a new game, I have to delete an old game to make space. And since the games need update space, the system requires about 100 gigabytes of that storage space to be free, or I cannot download updates for the games, and if I can't download updates for the games, I can't play online, which is the main avenue of how I play video games. By deleting games off my system as well, I forget which games I have bought, and I will also lose games as they get removed off the PlayStation Store server, which is much different than having a physical copy of the game so that you always have the game and can install it like you would with a piece of software for your PC or other gaming systems. Downloading the games digitally definitely has its conveniences, but at what cost do the conveniences start to become problems? Let's talk about physical media pros and cons for a second. The biggest advantage of physical media is that if you take good care of it, you will always have it at your fingertips for easy access. Also, physical media has great artwork that you can enjoy via box art and other materials like an instruction manual or possibly other collectibles like per se a map, especially with older titles such as The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The problems with physical media is that it can get damaged, worn. In the case of CDs especially, CDs can get scratched very easily or get like laser burns, for lack of a better term, where the disc just gets damaged by the system. Physical media can also get lost if you lend a game to someone or you take it someplace and you lose it somehow. Another issue, especially with major collections, is space. Where are you going to put all this crap? That becomes a big problem when someone has thousands of games and may need to move for whatever reason or literally runs out of space to put everything in their current location. That's when the collector has to start making decisions on what to keep and what not to keep. This isn't, but kind of still is an issue with digital media because you can put the data on different hard drives, which by comparison might be more expensive, but in theory you could still save a lot more digital files than physical media files. But as we address with the nature of the PlayStation 4 having a limited amount of space and adding new hard drives to the machine being difficult and somewhat obtuse, this still becomes a problem. I think it's important for us to utilize both mediums. The digital nature of having games be convenient digital files is great, but when you pre-order or download a digital copy of the game, they should send you via the mail a physical copy of the game so that you have it forever. Likewise, if you purchase a physical copy of the game, you should get it in digital format in case your CD gets scratched or something of that nature. One thing we discussed in class is if you download strictly a digital copy of the game, it should be much cheaper than its $60 physical media counterpart. What's the point of that price point? Is it strictly to keep people buying physical copies? It really starts to make zero sense when you think about it. That's why I propose that any digital game that has a physical release, you should get a copy of the physical release mailed to you for you to be able to keep and do what you would like with it. Link with the CD key of sorts so you can just sell the physical copy of the game right off the jump, and so that the digital copy and the physical copy are linked as one. We also need physical media in case of an electronic catastrophe as well, where all cloud data is either hacked or destroyed. So it seems necessary to make sure that we have physical copies outside of the internet to always be able to re-upload to the cloud. So we really, even if we move to a completely digital age, we would still need some sort of physical backup at all times, whether it be on a hard drive or anything like that. So we'll never completely get away from it. We'll never get to a point where it's all digital, in my opinion. So I have these questions for you, the audience. Do you like physical or digital better? Which one do you like more? Which one do you use in your life? And thank you so much for listening and watching this video today. I hope you're having a great day, and I would appreciate your feedback. Thank you.